What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I am back today to give you guys a review of the Nike Air or Air Max 180 in this Ultramarine colorway. This is one of those shoes that I consider to be one of the founding fathers, if you will, of the Nike Air Max line. Originally released back in 1991, the Air 180, which is often called the Air Max 180, is probably one of the most underrated Air Max models of all time. It definitely has its own cult following, but it doesn't have the same level of popularity as the Air Max 1, Air Max 90, 95, or 97. However, of all the colorways that have released of the Air 180, the Ultramarine is arguably the most iconic, and we've seen these retro many times before in the past, most recently back in 2018. And in fact, I actually reviewed the 2018 version on my channel. I was definitely a lot younger, a lot slimmer, and in many respects, what I've said in that video still remains true for this video. But there's definitely some noticeable differences on this year's retro. So these are slated to drop on May 24th, and they retail for $150 US or $190 here in Canada. And the official colorway for this shoe is white, ultramarine, and solar red. So first things first, Nike has brought back the OG packaging of the Air 180. So we have this gray colored cardboard box, and we have this 180 branding on the top lid, along with this Nike Air branding on the sides of the box as well. As far as the shoe goes, so the overall silhouette has been recrafted or retooled to look closer to the original look of the Air 180. In recent years, the silhouette that we've been getting wasn't really close to the original look. It had much more of a slimmer but longer shape, almost like banana-like. So for this year's retro, they've built it back up from the ground up and has more of a taller and beefier look with more of a tapered but not elongated toe box. So jumping into the details of this shoe, starting things off with the toe box, this is covered in this white colored nylon. Overlaid on both sides of the toe box, as well as on the front, we have this synthetic suede, which is done in this off-white or sail color. So this same synthetic suede covers the eyelets, and then beneath this on the mid panel, we have a white colored mesh, and then stitched on top of this, we have a synthetic swoosh, which is colored in this ultramarine color, which is a mix of purple and blue. Moving downwards, we have more of these synthetic suede layers. But hugging the bottom of the heel, we have this matte solar red colored TPU heel clip, which gives you additional structure and support for the back end of the shoe. We have Nike Air branding embroidered in the center, and then around the ankle collar area, we have more of that white colored nylon, just like we saw on the toe box. As far as the laces go, so this pair only comes with one lace option, and they're your standard flat style lace in white. Underneath this, we have this neoprene tongue, which is very stretchy and flexible. We have Air 180 branding pressed on the top in solar red, and you'll notice how the tongue is attached to the body of the shoe, giving it this one-piece booty-like fit, which really hugs your foot snugly. The interior of the back half of the shoe, this is covered in this ultramarine colored fuzzy liner. And then as far as the insoles go, so these come with your typical foam line insole, really nothing special here. We have a solar red colored finish on the top, with this retro Nike International branding pressed onto the heel. So the upper of the Air 180 sits atop this polyurethane foam midsole, which is painted in white, but we have this hit of solar red on the heel. Encased within the midsole, we have Nike Air technology on both the forefoot, which is not visible, and we have this Air 180 unit, which is visible on the heel of the sneaker. And one thing I found interesting, I don't have an original 1991 pair to compare, but the heel air bubble, it seems to be encased within a TPU carrier. So if you try to press in this air bubble on the sides, it's extremely rock solid. Unlike an air bubble you'd see on an Air Max 1 or Air Max 90, where you're able to actually press it in, for this pair, like I said, the air bubble seems to be encased within this harder plastic, which gives it zero compression from the exterior. Anyways, moving on, so the bottom of the shoe, this outsole is crafted using a mix of ultramarine, black, and solar red colored rubber. We have this retro waffle style traction pattern on the forefoot, and this being Air 180, we have this plastic layer on the bottom, which allows you to see the air unit on the heel from the bottom as well. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, generally speaking, these do run true to size, so I feel like if you have a narrow, normal, or slightly wide foot, you can go true to size and it should fit you pretty well. Keep in mind though, the fit of the shoe fits a little bit more on the snug side. It has more of that sock-like feel, especially with the tongue, how it's connected to the body of the shoe. So if you're someone that really doesn't like that snug one-to-one sock-like feel, then I guess you could go up half a size. But I feel like for the majority of people out there, just stick with your normal true size and you should be okay. Moving on to the comfort, so unfortunately this shoe is actually not that comfortable, at least straight out of the box. Maybe it's just a matter of breaking them in, but from my initial try on, they feel very stiff on foot. The underfoot feeling is extremely firm. It's definitely firmer than an Air Max 1 or an Air Max 90, and I don't remember my other Air 180s feeling this firm. I don't know if it's just the foam that they utilize on this shoe, or like I mentioned how the air unit and the heel, there's no give or compression from these sidewalls, or maybe it's just a combination of both. But trying them on, it was noticeably stiff, and honestly, they didn't really feel that comfortable whatsoever. That's unfortunate though, but fingers crossed, maybe it's just a matter of having to break them in. So for those of you guys who are watching this video, and I'm assuming down the road, you've had the chance to really wear these and break them in, hopefully you can let me know if they've become more comfortable over time. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality was really nothing special. Keep in mind though, this is meant to be a running shoe back in the early 90s, so we just have a bunch of synthetic materials like nylons, that felt like suedes, the neoprenes. There's nothing genuine, no high quality materials on this shoe. And unfortunately, the build of the shoe was also pretty bad as well. For example, I had a lot of glue stains along the midsole. The paint job around the heel was noticeably sloppy as well. And even things like my left versus right foot, the right foot looked a little bit crooked from a top-down perspective compared to the left foot, which seemed flawless. So this was pretty disappointing because I was looking forward to this shoe, but then getting these in hand, it really seemed like the factory was slacking big time when they put this shoe together, which kind of is a shame and a waste of Nike's efforts in retooling the shape of the sneaker, which I think they really did right. They did a great job, especially when I compare it to some of my other Air 180s in my collection. So with all that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up for you, and I'll show you guys how these look. I was super stoked and very excited when Nike announced they were bringing back the Ultramarine Air 180. This is a shoe I've always appreciated, even though it doesn't get nearly as much love as some of the other pairs in the Air Max family. And there's definitely pros and cons with this release. Most notably, the pro is the new shape. I love how it doesn't have that elongated banana shaped look to it. It doesn't have that super long tongue that past retros had. So I really like the shape of the shoe, but I really didn't like the lack of comfort. The quality control was also extremely poor. So hopefully my pair was just unusually bad. This should be a pretty mass-produced Nike shoe, so fingers crossed for anyone that's planning on picking these up. Your pair is a bit better built than mine. So leave your thoughts down below. Let me know, what do you guys think about this Air 180 and this OG Ultramarine colorway? When these drop later on this month, is this going to be a for sure cop for you? Are you kind of on the fence? Or was the Air 180 just never your thing and this is still going to be a pass for you? As usual, if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, check me out on X or Twitter at sean.go spelt out, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy this review, and I'll catch all of you in my next review.